I'm having an argument on Twitter with some dude who doesn't know what he's talking about. So someone brought up Kyle Rittenhouse, which, you know, I watched the entire trial and I know everything about the trial because I watched the entire damn thing when it was happening in real time, although some of it was after, you know, in the afternoon. I'd do it on 1.5 speed, but I watched the entire freaking trial, right? And so a lot of people who have no idea what they're talking about say stupid shit on the internet about the Kyle Rittenhouse trial. And someone hears Kyle Rittenhouse killed people because he was inexperienced and showed up with intent. Intent to what? Okay? If you watch the trial, you'd know why he was there, and it was pretty obvious that he wasn't there with any kind of intent. And, you know, the jackhole started chasing him, and then he turned around, and the jackhole stopped chasing, then he ran, kept running, and the jackhole kept chasing. Then the jackhole caught up with him and tried to take his gun, and he fired it. And then the other two guys attacked him, trying to create great bodily harm, and he shot at 3 of them, hit 2 of them, killed 1 of them, wounded 1 of them. One with a pistol. One of the pistol pointed at him before he shot. In fact, he had the pistol when he got there, but he turned around and Kyle didn't shoot, and then he turned around and pointed the pistol at him, and when he pointed the pistol at him, Kyle shot the 3rd person. But anyway, those are the facts, and also, but the people are still talking about he crossed state lines with a rifle. He crossed state lines, as if crossing state lines means anything. But down here, as people are arguing about this, someone says, he's talking to this guy or this lady here, how does not watching the trial somehow equate see, here's the problem. Some of these people, you know, if you watch the trial, you know things that people who didn't watch the trial have no idea about because they refuse to look at it. So here is someone saying, this guy says, well, here he is. He says, I'm a veteran who apparently fought for your right to kill people in the street like a vigilante. Seeing you anywhere near an American flag makes me nauseous. The only difference between you and a school shooter was the location. Completely and utter false. There was no vigilantism involved. This is someone who did not watch the trial. So someone replied, you sure don't speak for veterans. Not this one anyway. You have no idea what his motivation was. I'll take him at his word. I certainly feel I know what his attackers' motivations were. And then someone else replies, meaning their intent to disarm someone they perceive to be an active shooter. Irrelevant. And if you watch the trial, you would know why, but you didn't watch the trial either. Even if you give him self-defense in the first instance, why would 3 people all of a sudden decide to randomly attack him at the same time unless they felt he was a threat to others? Well, it's irrelevant. He can still act in self-defense against those people attacking him. And in fact, we also established during the trial that if, for example, he were in fact a shooter and any of those 3 people that injured him, they could also come up with a self-defense claim. So but it just happened to be that there's just legal reasons why you can do that. Anyway, so this person says, tell me you didn't watch the trial without telling me you didn't watch the trial. Oh, that is where the floodgates open. This person says, no need to watch a trial when you live just a few miles up the road from where it happened. Our licensed conceal and carry in Wisconsin have gone through military security force training in Great Lakes and even work with lawyers all day. Did I mention my master's in psychology? Thank you very much. None of that is relevant at all. That is not relevant. Unless you are a witness or you were there taking the video, because there's plenty of video. That's where there's video evidence. The fact that you live a few miles up the road, irrelevant. Our licensed concealed carry in Wisconsin, irrelevant. Have gone through military security force training at Great Lakes, irrelevant. And even work with lawyers all day, irrelevant to the case. Everything you just said is irrelevant. So this person said, well, you're literally admitting you don't know what actually happened. Which he replies, how does not watching the trial somehow equate to not knowing what happened? What? What? Because you don't know what happened. All you know is the Twitter telephone game on the internet. Are you serious right now? Are you serious? Now, maybe I know people who were there or someone with a connection to Kyle. Trials aren't the best record of facts. especially when the cards are stacked in favor of one side or the other. How? Oh, because the evidence was stacked in favor of Kyle Rittenhouse, because the evidence, especially the video evidence, was pretty telling. And so, yeah. And in fact, the prosecution's evidence was better for Kyle than it was for the prosecution. And so it says trials are important because they lay out every single piece of evidence for the public to view. Lots of things came out that weren't available to us prior to the trial. You have zero knowledge of the incident or what took place, and it's painfully obvious. To which the person who I replied to says, "You make no sense, Rose. The kid who has no right to cross state lines with a firearm with no license to carry that weapon in a state he doesn't live shows his intent. He was wrong for being there, period. Whatever he thought he was doing is the job of law enforcement, period." Clearly. Didn't watch the trial. Has no idea what the fuck they're talking about. To which I replied, well, damn. Good thing that didn't happen. What else did you learn from the trial? Because I'm talking about the cross state lines with a firearm with no license to carry that weapon in a state that he doesn't live in. Oh my God. So this idiot has no idea that Kyle Rittenhouse didn't cross state lines with a weapon, and that it was established during the trial that he could legally possess that weapon in the state of Wisconsin. He doesn't know that because he didn't watch the trial. He just hears the telephone game on Twitter. And I said, and he said, what are you talking about? He doesn't live in Wisconsin and doesn't have a license to carry in Wisconsin. What part don't you understand? To which I gave him the copy of the law, which we've gone through so many times on this thing in here. Possession. This is the law, statute 94860, possession of dangerous weapons by a person under the age of 18, and it goes through the exceptions for this law. One is it is a law. 16 and 17-year-olds can legally possess long-barreled rifles and long-barreled shotguns. And 17-year-olds in particular don't necessarily have to have a reason for possessing that weapon. Doesn't have to be for hunting, doesn't have to be whatever. They can do it. And so here's where it's laid out. One, because Kyle did not have a short-barreled rifle, he's not in violation of this part of it by having it. And because he was not under 16, these hunting laws restrictions are not applicable to Kyle. And because to get a certificate of accomplishment to be approved to hunt, this is for ages of people born after 1/1/73. This is for hunting purposes only, but since Kyle wasn't hunting, he does not have to have the certificate, because you can do target shooting, you can do all kinds of shooting that's not hunting, that has to be in compliance of the hunting law, but he's not hunting. So a lot of people try to say, oh, he did a hunting thing. No, it has nothing to do with hunting. So anyway, I said, people who watch the trial know he didn't cross the state line with a firearm, and there's no license to carry that weapon in Wisconsin. He lawfully possessed the weapon because of age exceptions for type and length. The charges were dropped, and the prosecution didn't try to fight it. Once they had to measure the barrel of the weapon to prove that it was not a short-barreled firearm, they said, okay, you're right. We got this part wrong when we charged him with these charges. But no! This guy, now you tell me when this guy loses the argument. Well, he already lost the argument because he has no idea what the fuck he's talking about. But he says, another one with no common sense. Let's go over this because you just don't understand or care about the facts. Really? The person who watched the trial and knows the facts doesn't know or care about or understand the facts? I know the facts of the case, moron. He is underage to begin with, and so that is at minimum a misdemeanor. False. Absolutely false. I even showed you the statute from which I got my information. Then he says, second, he did not live in that state. He went there to act as a vigilante. This is irrelevant to, first of all, that's your opinion, which if you watch the trial, you pretty much know that, I mean, really, seriously, if you watch the trial, you're like, nah, that wasn't it. He was just there helping and whatever. And I said, for fuck's sake, read the law. The charges were dismissed because prosecutors misread the law. That's why they dropped it. You have no idea what you're talking about. The Twitter telephone game is not your friend. Watch the trial. Just because you don't understand it doesn't make it so. And here's where I know he lost the argument, because he starts with, hey, moron. When you start calling names, you pretty much lost the argument. Hey, moron, because you don't want to admit because his lawyer was paid for is the reason he got off, you need help. What do you mean his lawyer was paid for? What? So what if his lawyer was paid for? Did he break the law? Did he do something illegal? Is self-defense legal in the state of Wisconsin? A jury said yes, and they said it was clearly self-defense by a unanimous decision. It has nothing to do whether his lawyer was paid for. All lawyers are paid for in some manner or another. The prosecution lawyers were paid for. Everyone's lawyer was paid for in this case. That's a stupid argument. Then he says, by Wisconsin law, look it up, idiot, he should have been charged minimum a misdemeanor. No, I just printed the law and put it on the internet for your sorry ass, and you didn't read it. And because you're stupid. You don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. Shut the fuck up. Then he continues. I said, wait a minute. I just posted the relevant section. I'm sorry you don't have the patience to read it carefully. I do find it funny you've been reduced to name calling. Clearly, you lost this argument. Oh, well, that didn't make him happy, because now I'm got notifications over here going on and on and on. This guy's just ran away and everyone else is. And then he says, oh my God, it's frustrating when people like yourself continue to put your opinion and lies misinforming people. Maybe, okay, here, I'm going to answer this one. Here, maybe it's because I can read the law. Maybe you should try it. While you're at it, go watch the trial you didn't watch. Again, don't rely on your friends' opinions. And that's all I got to say about that. Fuckwad. And there's still people up here going on and on and on and on and on and on and on. You really don't get it. Common sense tells you that what is intense with. No, it doesn't. I watched the trial. Anyway, so this dude, it's incredible that people just refuse to, just on that point alone, they still talk about him crossing state lines illegally with the weapon. And his mother drove him there, and he crossed state lines with, he crossed state lines. Yeah, he drove 11 miles to where his dad lives, where he was working as a lifeguard, and also cleaning up graffiti all day and doing all sorts of stuff. And his best friend lives in that town, and his sister lives in that town, and his aunt lives in this town, and his father lives in that town, and his grandmother lives in that town. But he had no business being there. Really? What business did the people out there trying to burn buildings down and burn up car lots and stuff, what business did they have there? In fact, the guy with the pistol that pointed the pistol at him, that got his bicep shot off, he came from 70 miles away. What was his business there? Kyle came from 11 miles away and had family ties within the town. In fact, he worked in the town. That's where he worked. He's worked at the YMCA as a lifeguard at the pool. Hey, this is PDawgKnight, and thank you for watching today on the PDawgKnight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cashapp, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm PDawgKnight, and I'm out of here.